Thanks for joining Claire's Wellness and Yoga channel. We're going to do a longer flow than I usually do, but the idea of today's flow is to really get deep into the areas where we hold a lot of tension in the muscles. So we won't go too fast paced. It's not about power, it's about opening, releasing and allowing the body, especially for people like athletes who, when they work out, their muscles are very tight. This is the sort of flow that they would like to do after a hard workout or a hard week in order to let their muscles release some of that tension and some of the tightness that they may find. So with that being said, let's get right on into it. Let's come straight into a downward facing dog. And like I said, because we're all about releasing the tension and the muscles today, we will hold some of the poses for longer. And like I said, it is going to be a longer flow than I would usually do. But it just allows you, by doing a bit longer and holding for a bit longer, for you actually to get the benefits from it. So when I do my power yogas, you know, it's fast, it's furious, it's quick, it's, you know, the impact is to make sure that you feel like you've had a really good workout. That's not what this flow is for. This one is for you to help after the power yoga. This is to allow the body to come back to that equilibrium, allow all the muscles to release, and just to feel generally really good. Okay, so if this is very difficult for you at the beginning of a practice, you know, to have your heels towards the floor, it's fine while we're starting. Just have a bend in the knee, or to keep your toes off if they can't reach the floor right now. By the end of it, I'm sure you'll be a lot closer. So we're just going to sink our chest down towards the floor. And then we're going to lift our toes, come back down. We're just going to do this nice and slowly, do it at your own pace. And also really focusing on your breathing throughout this entire workout. Because when we hold tension, the best way for us to deal with that is to breathe through it while we're releasing. Sometimes when we're releasing our muscles, it doesn't always feel good to begin with. It is a little bit painful. But when they do, your body will feel much, much better afterwards. Then come on forward into plank. And then just drop your hips under your toes and come into an upward facing dog. Try and keep your thighs off the floor, but if it's still too soon, it's not a problem if they're on it. Really pull your shoulders down. And then we're going to push back into our downward facing dog. And we're going to do this a few times. And just see each time we do it, how much further you can actually get into these poses. Come on forward, come down, release your toes, and come into our upward facing dog. You can also move your head side to side if that feels good. Back and forward. Just releasing any tension in the neck. Then push back up, downward facing dog, and we're going to do this one more time. Here, if you want to, you can also walk out your dog and move your hips side to side if that feels good. Remember, this is for your own body, so we're all different. So each of us will be holding tightness in different areas of the body. So please just listen to your own body and do what feels good for you. So if just staying still in your downward facing dog is best for you, then do that. If movement is better for you, then incorporate that as well. Then come on forward. Drop down into our upward facing dog, release the toes, and breathe. to. You can also come to one side, just open up the side body, drop your hips down towards the floor, and come on back through centre, and do the opposite side. And back through centre. And then we're going to push back into our child's pose. Open your legs slightly, sink your chest in between your legs, reach your hands towards the front of your mat, and if you can, reach your forehead down to the floor and just breathe here. Then you can take your hands towards the left side and just sink your hips towards the right. And you should feel this lovely stretch all down the right side of your body. Then come on back through the centre, bring your hands towards the right, and then drop your hips towards the left. Like I said before, you want to breathe through each pose, allowing that fresh oxygen just to go all the way around the body as we're opening up those tight areas. Back to the centre. Then come on up onto all fours. Coming into our tabletop. Make sure you've got a nice straight back. Make sure your hands are placed underneath your shoulders. And here we're going to do some nice cat-cows. So, you're going to tilt your tailbone, look up towards the ceiling. And then tuck the tailbone in, bring the chin towards the chest, push through your hands, and get that nice stretch across the back of the spine. And you can just do this at your own pace. And here we're going to add a bit of movement. So we're going to come towards the heels, bring your chin towards your chest, come on forward, tilt your tailbone and come on back towards the heel. And we're going to go like this wave-like motion. If this doesn't feel good for you, continue doing it the previous way in the traditional cat-cows. If you also want to do some circles with your hips while you do this, you can. And you can do your circles as big or as little as feels good for your body. Then change direction. Two more. And last one. Come back into our tabletop again. Hold it here. Here we're going to do a little bit of core work. Okay, so I want you to extend your left arm in front of you and your right leg behind and just hold it here. And just breathe. Really reaching towards the front and the back of the room, getting that nice long length along the back and the arms and the leg. Bring your hand down, bring your knee back, and then change sides. Extend your right arm and your left leg, engage your core, and just hold it here. And again, we just want to focus on our breathing, our inhales and exhales. Last breath here. Then bring your hand back down and your knees. And then we're going to do the same thing again, but we're going to incorporate some crunches into it. Extend your left arm and your left leg. We're just going to bring our elbow to our knee, engage the core, and then extend. We're going to do this 5 times. And last one. Hold it here. And here we're going to do some little pulses. It's not a very big movement, but you'll really feel your glute get engaged with this. Last 5. And 1. Place the hand. Bring the knee back down, and let's repeat on the opposite side. Extend your right arm, left leg, and let's do those 5 crunches. Elbow to knee, extend, really engage that glute as we extend. Last 2. Last 1. Extend here. Hold it, and we're going to do those little pulses again. And if this is too difficult for you, please just stay in either a tabletop or do the extension without the pulses. Last 5. Come back into our tabletop. Sit back into our child's pose. Sink the chest down towards the floor. And just breathe here. And I want you to take hold of your hands, interlace the fingers, and if you can, bring your hands behind your head just to get into those triceps. If this hurts, then please don't do it. Just stay with your arms extended. And then try and sink further towards the floor. If you're ready and you've got your hands, come back with your extended arms, come up onto our all fours, tuck your toes and push back into our downward facing dog. Hold it here. And just breathe. Here we're going to extend our left leg into our 3-legged downward dog. And here I just want you to pulse slightly behind, and what this will do is it will get really in to the calf and the hamstring on the leg that is grounded. Okay, it just gets that extra stretch by doing the pulses. If it doesn't feel comfortable, please don't do it. 5 more. Last one. Come back into our downward facing dog. Hold it here. Breathe. bend your right leg. Like I said, if it doesn't feel good, please don't do the pulses, only do it if you feel the benefits for it. And then pulse. Last 5. Last 1. Back into our downward facing dog. Hold it here. Then we're going to step through with our right foot in between our hands and come into a low lunge. So drop that back leg. To begin with, we're just going to stay here, sinking our hips towards the floor and really getting into the hips. I know for me, I find I hold a lot of tension here, so these sort of poses are great for releasing. So between the low lunges and the high lunges and the crescent lunges, that really helps to open up the hip joints. So I'll be doing quite a few of those today too with you. So you can come on up, put your hand on your knee, and you can just push back into a slight back bend just to deepen the stretch. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Like I said, just trying to sink those hips towards the floor. Then come on down. Place your left hand next to your right foot, and you can have a nice spinal twist here. And then if you want to, and it's within your practice, get hold of your foot and bring it towards your glute for a nice quadriceps stretch here. And if you want to as well, you can open up that outside foot on the right side just to get deeper into the hip joint. And you look over your shoulder. Then release the back leg, tuck your toes, come on up into a high lunge, hold it here. And you can do a little bit of rocking back and forth if that feels good. And again, if you want to add that twist, you can do. Really good. Come on back. Do a little rock again. Then step back into plank through our chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And then push back into our downward facing dog. Hold here. And then let's repeat on the opposite side. Step through with your left foot in between your hands. Drop your right leg, coming into low lunge. And again, hold it here. Really sinking your hips down and feeling that lovely deep stretch and opening. And if this is too hard to come all the way down, by all means just stay here on your knee, just wherever is the most comfortable for you. And if you're ready, you can come on up, place your hands on your knee, and add that little back bend for the deeper stretch, sinking your hips down. And just breathing. And then come on back. Place your right hand next to your left foot and add that twist. Looking up towards the sky. And if you want to deepen the stretch to get into the quadriceps, get hold of the back foot, pull it towards your glute. Keep looking over your shoulder. And if you also want to get further into hip, you can also roll your left foot towards the side, just to deepen it, but do whatever feels best for you. And then release the back leg, come on forward, come up into your high lunge here, hold it here, do the rocking back and forth if that feels good. And then you can come into that twist. Sorry for anyone that can hear my kitten. She's playing by the door. Come on back. And again, do the little rocks back and forth if that feels good. Step back into plank. Through our chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And push back into downward facing dog. Hold it here. Breathe. Then step forward with your right foot in between your hands. Come on up into our crescent. Sorry, just get your balance. Come on up into your high lunge and then extend back into our crescent lunge. Hold it here. Really try and get the back foot towards the floor. Hold it here. Come forward. Place your hands on the floor. Step back. Plank. Through our chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Push back. Downward facing dog. Then step forward with your left foot. Come on up into your high lunge, and then lean back into your crescent lunge. With this nice back bend. Then come on forward, step back into plank, through your chaturanga, upward facing dog, and push back, downward facing dog. Then step forward with your right foot, turn your back foot round, and we're going to come on into our side angle. And you can extend your hand here, you can use your elbow on your knee, if that feels good, and extend your hand, or you can come all the way down, placing your hands next to your right foot for a deeper stretch, and hold it here. Feel the length down the side of your body. Make sure you stack your shoulders, and you can even look up towards your hand, making sure that your body is in that nice, lovely side angle position. And for those who have it in their practice, you can also add a bind here. So bring your hand in between your legs, interlace your fingers and look up towards the ceiling. Then come on back out. Push back into our triangle. Hold it here. Try and get length into the spine here. Come back, pivot the back foot, come back into our high lunge, hold here, then step back, plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, Then step through with your left foot, pivot your right foot out, and come on up into that side angle. Either you can use your elbow on your knee and extend your arm, or if you'd rather deepen the stretch, come on down and place your left hand next to your left foot. And again, if you want to deepen it here, and it's within your practice, you can come into the bind. And when you're ready, you're going to come on out and extend that front leg and come into our triangle pose. Really adding length to the side of the body. And then come on back, pivot your back foot, come into that high lunge, hold it here. Hopefully each time you come into these poses, you'll feel you can go a little deeper and it's not quite as tight. Then step back into plank, upward facing dog, and then we're going to push back into our child's pose again. Take a few breaths here. And when you're ready, come on up. I'm just going to open up our feet. I want you to tuck your toes. We're just going to open and spread those toes out, and we're just going to sit on our heels here and just release any tension out of our feet, because we often hold it and we don't move them backwards. You know, we're always walking like this, so to actually extend and flex our toes, we don't do it that often. And this is a really nice way when we do, just to release any more tension within every area of our body. And I want you to sit up straight. And if this is too painful for you, please come out and you can just sit like this. So again, whatever's best for you. But for those who find this pleasurable and that it does help to release some of that tension, then please continue with me. Keep your shoulders down. I want you to interlace your fingers, and you're just going to reach your fingers or your hands towards the floor. Now, you can either do a deeper back bend, or if this isn't good for you, then please just stay here wherever is most comfortable. You just try and reach your hands behind you, so you're really opening up the shoulders as well, and the chest, and just breathing. And then come on up, untuck your toes. And we're going to bring our arms over the top of our head and reach towards the floor. And then you can come on up, sit back up, and this time we can do the same thing again, but with our toes untucked, reaching our hands towards the floor, pushing our chest up towards the ceiling. And just, moving your neck whichever way feels most comfortable. Come on up, cross your legs, and we're going to come and sit in the centre of our mat. I want you to place your hands on your knees, and here we're just going to do some spine movements so that we can really open up the spine and get some movement in it. So you're going to roll down, bring your chin towards your chest, and then come on up, push your chest up towards the ceiling. You know, spine mobility is so important for our overall health. You know, when we haven't got much movement in our back, you know, everything feels very difficult and uncomfortable. So by doing just small movements like this, it can really make a huge difference in our lives. 3 more. And last one. Then come on up. And I want you to take your left foot, bring it towards your glute, take your right leg over the top of your left knee. And here we're going to do a nice spinal twist. Bring your left elbow towards your right knee and you can twist, looking over your right shoulder. Really lengthen the spine. And here, if it's within your practice, you can also do a bind. You take your left hand, place it through that little hole here, interlace your hands, and add that nice bind if it's accessible for you. And come on out. Carefully. Have one last little twist. Come back and then change legs. Bring your right arm to your left knee. Either stay like this, looking over your shoulder, or, like I said, you can also go into a bind if it's within your practice. So if you are ready for the bind, place your hand through that little gap, interlace your fingers, and just deepen that stretch. When you're ready, and do your bind if you're there. Have one little stretch again. Come on back. Come back to the centre of your mat. And here, we're just going to do a little bit of core work. So, if you can, bring your toes off the floor. Try and have a nice long back. And we're just going to do some little extensions. So really engage your core. Try and lean slightly back to help with your balance. And you're just going to extend one after the other. This is also really good for your balance. Let's do 5 more on each side. And last one on each side. Hold here in boat. If you want to, you can also extend your legs if that's within your practice. Engage your core and just hold it here. And just breathe. Last few breaths. Then bring your knees in towards your chest. And we're going to roll down one vertebra at a time. Slowly and controlled. From here, you're going to extend your legs. And you're going to bring your right knee towards your chest. Here we're just going to open up the hips a little bit, so you're going to rock side to side, begin with. We just want some movement into that hip joint. And then I want you to add some circles with that knee. You can go one way before we change the direction. So just remember which way you've gone. And change direction. And try and get as big a circles as your body allows you to really add some space into that hip joint. We really want to open things up here. We want our body to have as much mobility as possible, as well as being strong and toned. There's nothing worse than being super fit, but we've got no flexibility or mobility in the body. You know, that's a recipe for disaster eventually. Okay, then bring that knee towards your chest. Then you're going to extend, placing your hand either behind the back of your knee. If you can bring it towards your ankle, or even here, wherever is most comfortable for your body. And then you're just going to flex and extend your toes. And you also can add some circles here too. And then change direction. And then extend and flex again. And then you can bring your legs slightly closer to you if it's comfortable. You can even lift yourself up and try and bring your head towards your knee. Just whatever feels best for that stretch for your body. Then come on back. You're going to bring your knee, drop it down towards the left side. Extend your right arm and look over to your right hand for this lovely spinal twist. And you can use your hand to just try and push that knee down and then relax into this pose. Then come on back. Again, bring your knee in, rock slightly back and forth. And then place it next to your left foot. And then let's change sides. Bring your left knee in. Again, you want to just rock it side to side, opening up that hip joint. It's important to keep your hips flat on the floor together. You don't want to be leaning to one side. You know, make sure that your body is fully flat on the floor. Even if that means you can't get your knee all the way to your chest, even if it's all the way up here, it's important to keep your body nice and flat. And then we're going to add those circles with your knee in. You might find one side of the body is easier to do this than the other. That's completely normal. We'd all like to be perfectly symmetrical, but we're just not. Well, most of us aren't anyway. Then change direction. Extend your leg, and again you're just going to place your hand wherever feels most comfortable. Like I was saying, you might be different on one side or the other. I definitely am. If any of you see my other videos, I have a hamstring injury, so I'm definitely worse on my left side. And then you're going to extend and flex your foot, just deepening the stretch. And also, if you can't put your hands there, you're perfectly fine to do this without holding on. You know, if that's too intense for where you are, then please, by all means, don't use your hands at all. And then we're going to do the circles with our feet. Then change direction. Point. And again, if you want to bring your head towards your knee, you can do to deepen the stretch. And come on down. Bring your knee towards your chest, and again, add that little movement side to side. Both knees in, squeeze. You can just add a little rock here side to side. Extend your legs again. Bring your left knee in, and then you're going to drop your knee over towards the right side. Look, extend your left arm, look over to your left hand, and do this lovely spinal twist. Then come on back, and both knees in. Again, rock side to side. Extend both legs. You're going to take the right leg over the top of the left leg, and you're going to grab hold of your feet and pull, stack your knees and pull your feet towards the floor. This is great for getting into your glutes. And for me, I find this one area as well, from running and things like that, that I hold a lot of tension. So this is a great pose or asana to do to help release that tension. And like I said to you before, it's really important to breathe through these asanas. You know, when we are stiff and we're tight and we're holding that tension, breathing through it really does help. Focusing on the breath, not the uncomfortable area, helps it to release as well. And you can do this either with your head on the floor, or you can lift it up, whichever feels like you get the deeper stretch. And then you're going to interlace your legs if you can, into eagle legs. And we're just going to drop over to the left side and look over towards the right hand for another spinal twist. This one just slightly deeper. Then come on back. And we're just going to change sides. So take your left leg over your right leg, get hold of your sides of your feet, stack your knees and pull your feet towards the floor. And like I said before, you can either leave your head on the floor or lift it, whichever feels best for you. Hold it for 1 or 2 more breaths. And just try and relax in this pose, just to allow your body to really benefit from these final twists. Then come on back, unwind your legs, move slightly forward if you need the space, and here we're going to come into our plow. So we're going to bring our legs over the top, towards the back. If you can, interlace your hands. And then just breathe here. And for any of you that want to deepen this stretch, you can also bring your knees down by your ears. And just sink into the pose. And if this is too difficult, please stay in the previous one. Back to the plow, under your hands, and for any of you that would like to come into the shoulder stand, place your hands on the back here to support you. You're just going to come on up and you're going to push up into your shoulder stand. Make sure that you have supported yourself. And this is something that is in your practice. Please do not do this if it's not. And you can have fun here, you can play a bit. If you want to bring one leg and extend it, and then bring it back up, and deepen the stretch whichever way you would like to. Just have fun here. Whatever feels good for your body. If you want to also try a lotus, you can do. And then undo your hands. You're just going to slowly roll down one vertebra at a time, coming into our final position, Shavasana. Make sure that you are comfortable on your mat. Let your arms flop to the side and your legs. Close your eyes if it feels good. Again, we're going to focus on the breathing. Today we're going to do a little breathing exercise. So with your eyes closed, we're going to inhale and hold at the top for 3 counts before we exhale. We're going to do this 5 times. Okay, ready? Inhale. Hold it here. And exhale. You can do it on your own timing or you can follow me. have one last big stretch over the top of your head. And then roll over to one side, and then come and meet me in the center of your mat. Thank you very much for joining me on this yoga flow today. I hope you did feel that we got into those areas where you were holding tightness and tension, and that your body does feel a lot more relaxed, and that you were able to release a lot of those muscles. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe, and I'll make more videos like it. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day.